am back with this Holtz Folio, and we're going to finish it up today. So welcome to my channel, Making Crafts. If you are new here, welcome, and if you have been here before, welcome back. If you've missed the videos of this folio, I will have them linked in the description below, and I will also have a link here in the upper right hand corner to the first video showing it. So I've been using Craft a Clock Lost in Time mixed media paper, as well as their extra set, which is a fussy cut set. So if you're interested in those, you can see my first video, and I also have a flip through of these in another video, so I'll link all that below. So let's look and see what all we have done so far in the folio. So far we've gotten our flaps decorated up, and I keep debating, should this be the cover or what we're doing today be the cover? We shall see how it all turns out. We've also decorated the center here and created a pocket. Now I slipped these little flowers in here because I want them integrated somehow into this pocket. I don't know how yet, but we will figure that out as we go along. And like I said in my other video, I did not order 2 of these, so I'm just making this along with you as I go. So for the inside of this, we have our, and I have some more flowers laid aside. I've been playing with it, trying to decide where to put all these flowers, but here is the accordion folio that accordion journal that comes with it. And so I've just covered this with, it's hard to get on a long screen here. So I've just covered this, and in my first video when we make this, I give you all the dimensions and directions on how to cut your paper to fit this accordion, and then we decorated it up in that video and added a few pockets. So this is where we're at. So I'm going to lay this aside so it doesn't get messed up, and let's see, let's work on the front flap first today, and then we'll work on the inside. So I kind of know what I want to put on the front. I've gone ahead and laid out a few things. I want to use this piece of paper from the Craft a Clock set. I've also laid out some of the frames from the fussy cut set. I have some flowers and a dragonfly. I have a butterfly and then another flower. I also took a piece of paper from the pack, just a scrap we have left over from all the other times of creating things in here. Took this scrap and I used the Tim Holtz sayings and I cut it up. It was a long saying and I just chopped it up. Collect beautiful moments. And then this is a frame from the extra set. So I have that there. So I think that's all going on the front. There's a hair, my hair's falling out there. I think all that's going on the front. So let's just see here. Oh, and I also took a piece of cardboard from a coffee box, and I'm going to use that on my frame. So in order to get my frame to fit, all I did was I just traced the frame onto the cardboard, and then I cut within my tracing lines so that it was a little bit smaller than the frame, so it would not show once I glue it on. So to get started first though, we need to cut this piece of paper to fit on the front of this, and so I still want a border around it. So this measures 6 by 4. So I want to cut my paper 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So I think that's going to work because you can see the flowers that I wanted. So let's lay this trimmer aside and let's get started layering it all up. So first I want to add my frame to the cardboard. I keep saying cardstock, to the cardboard. I think that's how it's supposed to go. So I've gone and inked one side. I'm trying to see what side. So one side shows white and the other side's been inked. I did go ahead and ink it so that you couldn't see the white edges that I left when I cut out the center of the frame. And I just used an X-Acto knife to cut that out. And it's okay for me if the frame is hanging over some on the back side of the cardboard. That's totally fine. I just need it to pop my frame up some, and I love this frame that was in the kit. So here was another frame that was in the kit, and I haven't inked it yet. I do need to go ahead and ink that one as well. And when I'm inking it, I'm not doing a lot of inking. What I'm trying to do is just cover up some of those white lines that I missed when I was trimming it out. Couldn't get those words out. So I'm just lightly inking it. I may go back and ink the edges though of this one for the front so it pops out on the cover. Maybe that's what we'll do. Let's just ink the whole thing. So I'm going to get my glue book out. I use this normally to glue on, but I also use it to ink because it's easier to come across something like this that's flimsy. It's easier to ink the edges. Those I'd already inked, I was just going back over them. But it's easier for me to ink the edges so I don't, you know, tear up my little frame here because it is a little fragile. Okay, I'm gonna get those side the edges there. That way we don't destroy it. There we go. So I have that one. And then I'm going to ink around the edges of this one as well. I'm just lightly inking though. I'm not really grunging it up. I'm just lightly inking it. And I think I do want to ink, I've been inking the edges on these, so I'm going to go ahead and ink the edge on this piece that goes on the front. And then I'm going to ink the folio itself. So let me do that and then I'll be back with you. Okay, so I finished inking the whole folio because I wanted to go ahead and just ink the entire thing up so it'll be ready to go. So now, let's decorate the front. So we're going to add this first. I think I'll go ahead and add the paper and then I'll decide on how I'm going to do the frames. Let me spread this out, kind of laying it flat so we can just sort of get this glued on flat. Well, isn't that gorgeous too? That is a gorgeous piece. I may have to use that on the inside somewhere because there's several sheets in the pack of paper. There's several sheets of each design, so that gives you a chance to use it in different spots and use the back sides and the front sides so you don't have to stress when you cover up some of this pretty. Okay, so let's just add that there. Just trying to center it up the best I can, but I'm not stressing it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that is pretty. So for the frame, I'm thinking of, I was going to put it on the edge here, and then this one is going to overlap underneath, so I'll have to trim some of it off because it's going to be like right in there, and then this one will be here, so we got to trim these parts off. I am going to take a pencil and just mark where I need to cut my frame. I'm just going to mark up in here, there, and there. Then I'll just use my scissors to trim that off. Take that piece off and this piece. We'll just lay it right there along with this frame, and I think that's perfect. So now let's go ahead and glue that down. I was making sure I didn't have the words upside down. There's words on this frame and I did not want to have them upside down. Okay. So I'm putting them both about the same distance from the, so this one's about the same distance as this one's going to be from the bottom. If that makes sense. Just going to put them like that. And then we have to glue this one down. Kind of like that. I do like that. Gonna add lots of glue because this cardboard on the back here is kind of slick, so I want to be sure that it sticks down really well. Then let's see, put it about right in there. I'm just pressing really hard so we can get it good and stuck. So I love those flowers sticking through like that. So then I'm just going to glue this little piece up, and I know I was off camera. I'm going to glue this one up real quick. And then we're going to get started on the inside. I just want to get the front decorated, and then for the inside we're going to make a few things to go on the inside of this folio. I love how this folio is so easy to decorate, but also to add different things to. Now, I may have made that frame too far down for that to work. I was not thinking when I stuck it, but it's stuck pretty good now, so I'm not sure that there's no moving it. So I'm gonna have to decide now, is that gonna be okay? Or do we want to change things around? I've got these flowers that can go up here too. May have to trim them off. Put those in there. Where is our dragonfly? I think like that would be fine. I don't know, wait a minute. I never thought about putting it there, but then you don't really see the whole frame it's underneath. Kind of changing it up a bit. I've kind of changed my mind now how I want to lay everything out. Kind of like that. This seems a little empty, but I think if I add the butterfly, is that going to be too many things at the top there? Okay, so I'm going to glue all this on. I think I like how it looks, so I'm just going to glue it like it is. Okay, so I like how that looks. It's different. It's different from what I normally do, but I do like how it looks, so I'm going to leave it just like that. This could still be the cover, or this one's the cover. I don't think I'm going to add anything else to it, but I can't say until we've totally finished up, so we shall see. So to cover the back and sides, we'll come back to that, I think, and let's just work on the inside. So, okay, so to cover the inside, I've gone ahead and inked the whole inside, and I had an idea of something I wanted to add to the inside, and I'll go ahead and be inking these papers while I'm telling you, but I had an idea of something I wanted to add to the inside. Oops, that's the wrong side. That I wanted to add to the inside, and I tried it, and it totally failed. It worked out. It actually, the project worked, but it totally failed for this folio. It just doesn't fit into this folio. So I'm going to show you something. I kind of destroyed my folio because I had to take it apart. I had to take that off, and I had already glued it. So that's okay though, because I could have covered it up and not showed you, but I wanted you to see that even if you mess up and you're designing these and you mess up, you don't have to buy another one and start over. Just gently get it off. That's what I did. I was real gentle with it. It did tear it because my glue was really good and tight, which we want our glue to be, but at the same time it did tear it some. But I was careful enough that I can just cover it right back up and it's going to be okay. So I was testing this piece out with that too. That's what that was there for. So I've gone ahead and cut the pieces that I want to go on the inside of my folio, and I'm not going to add a lot of extras on the inside. What I was trying to do was add a waterfall, but by the time I got it in here, it was really small and I didn't like it. I mean, it fit, but I just didn't like the looks of it, so I decided that I wanted to take it out. So that's okay, because I can just cover it back up with another piece of paper and it's nothing lost. So now for this piece, did I put the wrong piece over here? I'm not sure. So I may have to go back and cut a different piece for here, because this looks a little small. So I may be making a lot of mistakes today. This may not be my day, so I don't know why I cut that too small. So we'll just hold on to that because it could go right here just fine. We'll just cut it down. So I'll get another piece of paper and fix that, but at least we hadn't glued it down. Let me cut the piece for here so we can figure all that out. So I'll give you all the measurements for these. So for this one, I cut it at 3 1/2 by 5 3/4. This one is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. This one is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. This one is 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. So for this one, we have to cut our angle into it. So we want to measure up from the bottom to 1 7/8. I'm just going to use a pencil to mark that. Get that over there. Is this yeah, that's the side I was using. Oh, I want this direction. So you're going to mark it 1 7/8. I've already done that. So you're going to mark it 1 7/8. So make sure it looks like it's going to fit right in there. So then we're just going to put it in our paper trimmer. And like we did before, we're going to put the marking on the cut line, and we're going to put this corner here on our cut line as well. And that way we should get the correct angle. And let's see if that fits. And it does. So here we go. So I want to start out by gluing this one down because I have some flowers that I want to add to the back side of this to cover that up. So I'm just going to glue this piece on. So for this one, what I want to do is I want to add some flowers. I'm not sure which ones yet. Let me see what I have here. These may be the same thing. I want to add some here to cover up the back side of all of this. And then, it doesn't have to cover it all, but I want it to kind of blend a little bit better. Let me see, if I hold that there, what's it going to look like on this side? And I think it'll be okay. So I'm just going to add that now. So that that kind of fills in this little piece here. So I am adding just this little flower here to finish it off because this one was not quite big enough to fill it all in. So now I'm trying to decide though, what I think I will do is I'll put it up here because I do want it to stick out some from the other side. And I want to use this maybe as a tuck spot. So for now, I'm not going to glue this part down. I'm just going to glue at the top. Just right along here. And then I can come back and add glue later once I decide if it's going to be a tuck spot or not. I want to leave that option open. So I do want to look at the back side here because I don't want that red showing through on the other side. I just don't think that that's going to look good. So let's just take a look, because I have lighter flowers over here, so as long as the red flower does not show, I think we'll be good. So let's just press that down now. So we're just going to press those flowers down. Make sure it looks okay from that side. So I do like how it looks from that side as well. It adds to it. And let's see, how would that work as a tuck spot? Is it going to work to tuck something in it? I think you could. We'll see. If not, I'll add glue to the underneath part as well. So for this one, I am going to add some pockets. So let's go ahead and add the pockets. Let's just do each one as we go. I think that will be better, so I can design as I go. So I'm going to look at my scraps and see what scraps I have and how it would look on this one. I'm just about to run out of scraps because where I made that mistake, I have used up quite a bit. That looks good there, but it really blends in, doesn't it? That one looks good too. They're all probably going to look good together because they go together. It's a whole paper pack. So what if I did maybe a layer like this? Don't know. Kind of just wanting to layer some pockets up. Okay, so I like the size of this piece already, so I'm just going to cut the rest down to that size. So it's 2.5, no, excuse me, it's 3.5. So I'm just going to cut these strips to 3.5. And these are just some scraps that I found. And I'm trying to decide how I want to position them. So will each one be an individual pocket or will it slide all the way down? That's what I'm trying to decide. Okay, so I'm going to ink that, and that's how I'm going to lay those out. I'm just going to make those pockets there. So I'm going to ink them so that you can see that they're pockets. And I think I will come back with my circle punch and punch a little bit out of the center there. I'm trying to decide which one I'm going to use. If I'm going to use my small one or my large one. I think I'm going to use my larger one. And let's see if I can center it up on that. I think that'll be good. Now, what if I line them all together? Because I just realized I may have them off center if I don't do them all at one time. Let's see if I can do them all at one time. That may help so I don't get them off. There we go. That way they'll line up and match, hopefully, and they won't be just wonky on the way up. And let's try this one. Just inking it. Kind of want to ink that part really dark so you can see as they layer up that it is pockets. So let's just glue around this, down two sides and across the bottom. I'm gonna have to be kind of quick because I want to tuck this one down in it. So let me do that quickly before it dries. I'm not going to press that one down. Hopefully this wet glue will give me just a minute to get everything layered up. There we go, like that. And then let's see, how far up do I want that one? That's good. And then we'll add this one in. So I am pressing in on the sides before I glue it down, so that it causes the pocket to pucker just a little bit. And I saw someone else doing this the other day, and I thought it was an excellent idea because it takes and creates a little bit of a room in the pocket for the items that you're going to be adding. And I'm going to see if I can just press along the edges here, feel where the bottoms are, and get it all pressed down good. So I want each one to be an individual pocket. So when I mean that, there's one, and then this one. So this one's not going to go all the way down to that one. Same for the top. The top one's going to be really small, but I like that. I did make this one a little larger, finally, because I wanted this scene to be seen, and I think that's okay. It kind of just difference on the layers, but that's okay. So for this spot, I do want to make this a pocket, and I need to cover this. I'm not going to put anything here, I don't think, since my journal will be sitting in here. And I purposely chose this paper because when you lay this on here, you can see the flower peeping through, and I thought it just continued with the layers of the flowers. So the next part I want to work on is this little flap here, and I've gone ahead and prepped some things. And I've cut a piece of paper 2 3/4 by 4, and I'm just going to add it right here to the flap. So that's just the background piece that's going on the flap, and I've gone ahead and inked it as well. I'm just going to put that in the center of that flap. So the next thing I'm going to add is just a little piece, oops, not this one. I have this flower here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this flower as a tuck spot along with this. So first I'm going to fix this little piece of jewelry. It looks like this is supposed to be like a piece of glass with the dragonfly behind it. I'm going to attach it, if I can get my glue to work, I'm going to attach it to the other piece. And then try to line it up straight. I love all these little fussy cut pieces and how well they go together as well. So what I was thinking was adding, I'm going to decide which way I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to add it like that. So let me see. I'm going to add this first. So just need to put glue on one side since I'm going to use this as a tuck spot. So I'm just adding glue to one side of this piece. Make it like that. I want to make sure everything's, so I'm going to have this straight up and down like this. So I do want to make sure this is straight up and down, or somewhat straight up and down. So I like that. So then I'm just going to add glue across the bottom here, the top, and then just a little bit on the edge of these flowers. There we go. And here's a little card I cut just to show how it's going to fit. And so you could just put a little card there. So the next portion is this side, and like I showed before, it had a little accident. I had to change what I was doing on this side, but I finally came up with something else I'm going to do. So I've gone ahead and cut this piece of paper to 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. Instead of gluing it down, this paper down, and then doing the piece, I'm going to create it on this piece of paper, and then I'll attach it to the folio if it all works out. That way I don't destroy this folio. So I've gone ahead and cut some of the pieces, and I've scored most of them, but I need to score the last one. So I thought I would score that one, save that one, and score it with you so I can show you. So first off, you need to cut 3 pieces that measure 3 by 5 1/4. So 3 across by 5 1/4 tall. And I've gone ahead and got 3 of those done, and I've gone ahead and scored 2 of them. So you want to put them on your scoring board with the 5 1/4 inch side to the top. And then you're going to score each one of them at 5 inches. So I've done that for all of mine. So all I've got left to do now is I need to ink I also went through and inked them all, but you need to ink this edge here where you're going to fold it. Well, you don't have to, but if you're inking everything, then you may want to. Okay, so now that we have them cut and scored, we want to take one of them, and we're going to fold the little flap over, and we're just going to add glue to the back side of that little flap where it's folded over. I'm going to use the other side of this, the other end. I think I have it. I can just press that on. And so I've cut these so that you're going to have the same amount of paper around the edges as you do the top and bottom. So that's what you want to eyeball, is just centering it up on the sides and then just eyeballing that same amount at the top, or close to that same amount at the top. It doesn't have to be perfect. So then you just want to open it up and you have your flap here. So also, I forgot to mention, you don't want to ink the actual top of the flap, but you can ink the fold part so that it frames out your paper that you're going to be adding to it. But this one you want to leave plain so that it kind of blends in. It's okay if you want to ink it, but I think it blends in better if you don't. So now with the flap not folded and just up, we're going to turn it over and we're going to glue the back side of this flap, and we're just going to glue it down to our first flap. I'm just going to attach that down there. You want to make sure everything is lined up straight, so just make sure you've got this straight again. Fold this one over. Make sure they're lining up straight with each other. And that is close. I just need to slide it just a little more. You want your edges here, the sides to line up, and then we're just going to press it down. So that looks good. So we're going to just fold the next one up and press, and then we're going to add this one. So what you're going to do with this last one is you're just going to put it right up under the edge of, so you can see where this one's folded up and there's nothing there. We're just going to put it right up under the edge of that. And then we're just going to take and line it up right up under the edge there, up against the next one. And we do want to make sure everything's lined up before we press it down. Make sure all of our flaps are lined up straight. They look like they are. So we'll just press that down now. And that looks good. So now I did go ahead and cut some papers to go on the inside there. And the papers measure 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. So I always like mine about 1/4 of an inch smaller. And I think this one's going to be the one that goes on the last flap. So we'll just cover these. And then I did forget to cut some to go on the back side, so I probably will go back and do that as well. So here they are with just the fronts covered so far. And I do love that. And I may leave the backs like they are, just so they are great journaling spots. But I can always go back and add paper. But I do love how this turned out, so now I will add it to my journal. Last time what I was trying to do was make smaller waterfalls, and it was a bunch on here. It did not work out. So I do love how this looks. So I'm just going to glue this down now. So I'm going to add the next strip to this little flap here. So this strip measures 1 7/8 by 5 3/4, and I'm just going to attach it right here. So then I want to add some decorations to this, and I've gone ahead and laid out quite a few things that I want to add. And let's see, where are they all at? So I'm just going to add those real quick. I'm just using this little piece, metal looking piece from the extra set, as well as the little flowers and the bee. And then we're just getting down to the last little bits. We do still need to do the back side, and I have just one more project for that, but I want to go ahead and add some flowers to this side, and I'm trying to decide which direction. So I'm thinking like that. So I think I'll just add that to the flap. Okay, so I like how the inside is looking. I have added some strips here. They're right under 1/4 inch to fit on the inside of the score lines, the fold lines, to cover up the folio. I also off camera did the same thing on the back here, and on the, I forgot to show you, on the bottom here I did the exact same thing. So now I'm going to decorate the back. So I cut a piece of paper 4 1/4 by 5 3/4 and covered the back. I've also got a piece of scrap here that measures about 5 1/4. It's just a little over 5 1/4. Excuse me, it's just a little over 5 1/2. So this is just a piece of scrap I had that measured 5 1/2 by 4. It's just a little bit over 4. So I think it's going to be perfect. So what I did was I like to turn mine upside down and fold it up, and then fold the flap down just to make a little envelope, and that way this will be right side up. So I'm going to add it here. I'm trying to decide, do I want to add it to the bottom and make it a pocket, or do I want to add it to the middle and make it a belly band? Let me ink it real quick while I think about that. I still can't decide. I'm not sure. I forgot to ink this. Oh, I also put a little thumb hole in here too. I forgot to show you that. And that just makes it easier to get things in and out of the pocket. So I used I think it's my 2-inch. Right here it is. I don't know if it says on it, but I think it's a 2-inch punch to do that. So I do want to ink the edges just so it stands out on the piece of paper. Since all these papers go together, they do blend together well. And if we don't ink it, it's not really going to pop off of the page there and stand out. And this is just a very simple little envelope. We'll glue it up in just a second. I know I went through it pretty fast on how I made it, but we will glue it up in just a second. You know, now that I'm inking it, I'm wondering, do I want to round those corners? I think I do. So let's just round them. So I want to use the larger corner rounder, and then let's see. Oops, I think I got a little off on that one. There we go. And then we'll go back and ink those corners real quick. So now all we have to do for our envelope, let me close this ink up before I make a mess, is just run some glue along the edges here. And then we're just going to fold it up. Did I miss inking this edge, or it just wasn't dark enough? There we go. So there we have our little envelope. So I want to put a little closure on it. So I've gone ahead and did this off camera too. I have one of the cutouts from the extra set. It's just a button that's in that set. And I've tied some string through it, and I'm going to show this side where it's just looks like it's stitched. I'm just going to add that to the bottom to hold my envelope shut. So I'm just going to glue the bottom of this little paper button. It's not a real button, it's just a little paper button. Let's just press that down now and hold it there for just a minute. Just trying to center it up. And we have our little envelope put together. So now I could put it here and make it a pocket. I should put that on camera, I guess. Or put it in the center here and make it a belly band. I'm going to make it a belly band. I do believe that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to glue on 2 sides. And there we'll have a little belly band on the back. And I think we're almost finished with our folio. I do need to make a few little tags and things to add to it. So this is the completed journal. I wanted to do a quick flip through of it since I added a few things after I did the tutorial or the process video. So we did this cover on camera, and I do love how that turned out. So when you open it up the first time, you have this flap here with all the decorations, and then you open it one more time and you have all these together. And I love all the flowers and how all this looks together. So then this side opens up again. And so here's the thing that I added. So I went through my scraps, and so these were strips like this that were left over. So if they had writing space on the other side, I turned them into either tags or into little journaling little booklets. And so then I decorated the front. I just added paper from the kit to the front there. It was just another scrap. I used my scraps to create all the decorations, I mean not all the decorations, but for all the tags and little booklets that I added. So this one was off a piece of the paper like this, and so I just cut that out because I thought that looked like a little stamp and good decoration. So I'm just adding it in that small pocket. And then here's a little ticket that I made using another scrap. And then we have little tags. We just have little bitty tags in here. And then another little booklet, which was another strip that I just folded in half and decorated. And so there's plenty of writing room on the inside there. And then there's another little tag here. I love how these pockets turned out. So we've already opened this up. This is our little, kind of like a little tab to open this side. And so there's the decoration I added there. So we have our waterfall, and I am going to leave the back blank because I think that would be a good writing spot. And I can always add more paper if I decide to. Oops, just pressing that down. So there we have that. And then we have this flap. And so this is something I did off camera, was I made these little journaling cards in here so that the flowers stick up. But then these journaling cards come out. And so I've just taken a piece of scrap again, and I cut it down to fit, and then I just added the flower as a tab. And then I did the same thing on this one. And I realized I need to go back and ink this one. I forgot to ink the edges, so I'll do that in a moment. So we'll just add that in back in there. And so then we have this little tuck spot here, and I just made a little journaling card. Oops, I'm off camera. So I just made a little journaling card for this tuck spot. And then we do have our accordion folio, or accordion journal, and I've just added some little tags to the pockets. I left this one empty. I may add something later. And then this one I made a little journaling spot as well. So there we have that. And then we just close it up. I love how this closes up. And we have our little envelope on the back. And inside of it, I just put a little journaling card for now. I didn't even decorate it up because I wasn't sure what I wanted to put on it. So I just did it like that so it can be in there, and we have a little something in that pocket. I didn't put anything behind it, but I may later on, if I'm using this one, or leave it for whoever receives it to add something later on. So I hope that you have enjoyed seeing this process and seeing how I decorated up this folio. I will link below to all of the products that I used, and I'll also link below to all of the videos I have creating this little journal folio. I guess you would call it a folio, but it does have a little accordion journal inside. And I really love how it turned out. I thought the Craft-A-Clock set of papers was perfect for it. Well, if you enjoyed seeing this, be sure to hit the like button and comment below. I enjoy hearing your comments. It helps me to know what kind of projects you like seeing and what kind of projects to do that you would enjoy watching the process of or following along with. And if you have any ideas of things you would like to see me create, just let me know in the comments below. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.